Hello everybody, Steffi here from The Makers, and you are here hopefully because you want to find out about the pig in the blanket, which is featured in our Advent calendar 2024. And if you have got the calendar, then you will have all the materials to make this little piggy here, and I'll show it to you a little bit closer up right now. I will just let you know which day of the calendar it is. It's actually day number 7, so quite early on into the calendar, and this little piggy is so cozied up in this little cute little blanket, and you get everything in your day 7 parcel to make this little piggy. What still amazes me is that just a pile of pink wool, a little bit of black, and a blanket makes something as adorable and cute as this beautiful little piggy, all wrapped up in his cozy little blanket. So I couldn't bear to make a pig in the blanket with bacon wrapped around it, because we just love pigs too much and they should be cuddled up in blankets, and yeah, that's it basically. So let's start out. You have a lot of this lovely Australian merino flesh pink. It's a little bit softer than the New Zealand merino one if you've never worked with this. It's just so happened there was an extra piece. But you will have to split this into 1/3 and 2/3. So roughly into 1/3 and 2/3. So it's more by feel than anything else, but I think that's about 1/3, that's 2/3. And then you've got a wisp of the black, and that's literally just for the eyes. And you have a lovely little blanket, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, because we are going to do something to that blanket to make it look more like a blanket. So first of all, you're taking the larger 2/3, and it's very basic shaping in that you need to wind this into a little sausage shape, and I'm just going to have the little piggy here so you can see. And the sausage is about 5 centimeters long. So however you are preparing your wool, I often have like a longer strand, and it's probably sort of about 3-finger width. And you start winding the wool in, and you can already tuck the sides in a little bit to get the shorter version of this wool strand. And so you can see that I'm winding this up into a little pink sausage, and I've got all this lovely wool here at the end, and I actually will stretch it out as far as I can, because what I want ideally is to have the last wispy fibers. They just need to sit very softly over the rolled up sausage shape. So just from the side, these last wispy fibers, they will even sort of almost stick to it themselves like Velcro. You need a felting mat, and you need no more than a medium needle felting needle. You could even try straight away using a fine one. It's a very fine fiber, this Australian merino, and it's been turned into a wool bat. And all you're going to do is you're just securing that little sausage that you've wound up by stabbing into it, and then you're just shaping the rest of it a little bit more. So we want to firm it up a little bit and make it a little bit smaller. I'm just trying to think what you could compare it to once it's needle felted down. I'm going all around. Most of this will be wrapped up in the blanket, so you can't even see it. Note that our little piggy has got no details in terms of legs. A lot of work goes into the head, because that's where the detail is, but I will show you that in detail. And the rest of it is literally just a basic shape, very basic shape, which you can felt down a little bit more by just stabbing into it and getting it firmed up, but also slightly reduced in size. So I'm aiming for that size, so I've got quite a way to go to make it a nice firm little sausage shape. So we're just stabbing away at it and getting it felted down. So hopefully you will have lots of fun doing this. You could have this as a Christmas tree decoration. You could make sure that the blanket is wrapped around the pig and fastened on with a little tie, and then just use that directly to hang it up on the Christmas tree. Not wanting to give too much away what's happening in the Advent calendar, but from experience, and you can rely on that here too, we will have a kind of a string, a festive string if not too ready for you in the advent calendar. You might just have to be patient. But if you've got anything that you can use that you already have, feel free. Maybe a nice little red ribbon or something like that would look absolutely gorgeous, trying to keep your little pig nice and cozied up in this blanket. So remember, wherever you're stabbing the needle is where the reduction takes place. So make sure you stab towards the felting mat and not into your fingers. So move the item that you're stabbing rather than your hand. The item on the felting mat is the one that's mobile. Your hand has got limitations how you can twist and twist it. Let's not use any big words. So this is coming along nicely. Just stab it a little bit longer. You can of course make that into a very nice firm little sausage. I might just give it a rest here now. And then the next step is that you're making the head, and I'll show you how to do that too. So there we go, a little squat sausage. I'm going to put that to one side. Now with the other smaller amount of wool, that's my 1/3, you're going to take a generous wisp off, or pinch. I don't know what to call this, but I want to say this is probably almost a quarter. So 1/4, 1, 2, yeah, it's probably about a quarter. So a generous pinch or a quarter. If you put that to one side for now, and now you're going to do the same again what you did earlier, but this time you're winding the wool in, but you're only folding one side in to make it neat on that side. This side stays wispy, so fold it up and then stab it closed, exactly the same as you did before, but this time you are only folding one side in, and you're only now felting the part that is round and thick. The wispy ends are staying open. This will be the attachment to the body, so we need to keep these wispy ends open, and they're really quite handy to hold onto too, whilst you're at the same time trying to make that head as round as you can manage. Don't worry for 1 minute that you've got a funny little crack there at the front, because there's lots still to happen to this little piggy. So just get this felted in as best as you can. Make a nice, we don't need loads of wispy ends, so you can stab into the shape pretending they're not there, but keep there some wispy ends. It's really important that they stay in place. There we go. So you have a little ball shape at the end of your wisps, and firm these up as much as you can. I'm still working with my medium felting needle, and don't worry if you've got a little crack in there. And then you're going to open up these wispy ends as much as you can, like this, and you pop them onto your little sausage shape. Now what's really important is that you actually felt these fibers onto the body now as taut as possible. So you don't want the head to make the shape much longer. So place your shape sitting on its bottom basically, and stab into the wispy fluffed up fibers to stab them really snug, with the head really snug against the body. And you can even sort of stab into the edge of the head and at the same time into the body, to make sure that there's no air between the head and the body. So that is why we're coming from the direction that we're coming at. So you're going down, stabbing the fibers down like this, and you're felting the head on. Now you're not really building too much bulk on the body, but you might just have to felt it down a little bit more again. Just get that little piggy slimmed down a little bit more if need be. Otherwise he's just a fat little piggy, just what we need, and he's going to keep nice and cozy and warm in his little blanket. Absolutely love this blanket material. This was actually something that I spotted at one of the shows that we were going to, and it was almost like what came first, the pig or the blanket. It was actually the blanket, and I thought, oh my goodness, this would make the perfect blanket for a little piggy. So sometimes you don't know where these ideas are coming from, but this one came from there. So you now have attached a little head onto your piggy body, and you can still stab into the edges here a little bit more, like this, and shape it a little bit more. We're just making very, very basic shapes. So there's my little piggy now. You can still make this a lot firmer by stabbing into the body again. This is not ended really. Ideally, if I was to work on this, I would probably take a little bit longer and shape it a little bit more, make it a little bit rounder around the tummy, and that is something that you can take your own time, unless you don't particularly want to do this, because it will be hidden inside the blanket. So with this wool that we've got left over now, we need to make the snout, the cheeks, the forehead, and the little mouth and the ears. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 proper shapes, and one that's tiny. So I'm going to split this now, and then we also need to cover it all up. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes, and then I'm going to take one tinier wisp. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the same, and then I still have some wool left, which I'm going to use for the cover of the face in a minute. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the remaining sheet is probably bigger than the 5 shapes, and then you've got a tiny wisp here. So I'm going to put this to one side, and now I'm going to make the snout first from one of the 5 shapes. This is basically a miniature version of the body, so you want to roll it up into a little sausage shape. It's going to be hard to tuck the sides in, so you can felt them in. Ow, that was my finger. Straight away. So stab towards the mat, not like I just did, straight into my finger, and then felt the other side down as well. So you want to get a little, almost like a miniature body, a little sausage shape, and on one end will be the little snout. And then all you need to do is you need to now decide which way your piggy is lying, whether it's lying like this or like this. There's not much difference in any case. Just felt this onto the little pig by stabbing into the edge of the snout. You can adjust the shape of the snout quite a bit once it's on and you have less potential to stab it into yourself. So just get that felted on. Don't worry too much about giving it any details. We're going to cover all of it in a minute to make it one big shape. So you now have got a very strange looking thing here, but that's basically what you've got now. Then you're going to take another portion and you're folding this into a little wad. So we're not felting this at all. You're just folding this into a little wad like this, and you're popping this on the side of the cheek. So this is going to be on the side of the head. This is going to be the cheek. So you felt this down as well to the side, not quite the side, not where you, just sort of more where you imagine the cheek would be. Felt it down. Don't worry if it looks grotesque. And then you're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So wind this into a little wad and then attach it to the other side. So that's the cheek on the other side now. Just felt it down as best into place as you can. Make sure you're not stabbing it down too much because you don't want to make it completely disappear. So it needs to add bulk. So there you go. And then you're going to go for the next one, and you're going to make again the same shape, but this time you're popping it onto the forehead. So you've got a little built up forehead here as well. Felt this down too. So we're giving our piggy like a little squishy fat face. Cute little face. It's only a little piggy. And don't worry that it looks completely weird right now. And then finally, before we go to the rest, you've got the smallest wisp. This is the tiny wisp that you've had. You're gonna straighten this into a longer part, and then fold it in half, and then flat on your mat, you're going to felt this down into a little bottom lip. So you're gonna fold the sides in. This is not dissimilar how we're going to make the ears in a minute, so it's a good practice. I'm holding onto the wispy ends again because these are the ones that are going to help me fasten the shape onto the little piggy. So you've got that shape done. I'm going to put this to one side for now, and then you've got one of the 5 pieces still left, and you have to split this in half to make an ear each. We do that in a minute. First of all, you now need to use your leftover largest piece of wool. So this wasn't the one, this was originally the one that you took the 5 pieces off, and you need to make this into a nice wad, quite consistent, so that there are no holes in it, because this will be put over your little piggy's face now, to make sure that you haven't got that. Make sure you have the largest part of the wool, and then if there are smaller bits that have come off, put them on top of it, but make sure they're not on the outside, that they're on the inside. And then you're gonna fold this over, and then you're gonna follow the little nose line first. So we are now covering all the bits that we have made extra up, so that they become one part of the head and not no longer look like you've just attached them. So felt at this really shallow angle, go from the front along that extra bit of wool that you've laid over the head, so that you can tuck the sides down and felt them down first. And then you're going to follow the line of the facial features. So you want to make sure you've got to get your snout out again. At that opportunity, you can also add a couple of dents or holes to make the nostrils. 1, 2, and in a minute we're attaching the bottom lip as well. So this is almost like you're sculpting now your little piggy's face, and we're going to attach the ears at the very end. So what the one thing that you can also have at the ready is a little bit of blusher. I haven't got any here with me right this very minute, but I have definitely put a bit of blusher on this little piggy, so it just adds a bit of color to the cheeks. Once you've put that sheet over the head to cover up the cheeks and the forehead and the nose, you'll be amazed how the shape suddenly becomes apparent. Before it looks quite grotesque, but once you add that sheet over the pig's face, you suddenly see the cheeks, and you can see the forehead all emerging there. So to add the little bottom line, little bottom lip here, you just use that bit of shape that you've made, and you pop that literally here underneath the chin. Felt the wispy ends down, and then just felt it down a little bit more, so that you have a shape at the ready. It looks really cute if it's quite sort of far back on the mouth. And then felt into it a little bit as well. I'm still just using my medium needle. You can do this with a fine needle. So this one looks a little bit grumpy, this pig. He looks quite happy, but I don't know why. That's funny, isn't it? How maybe need to give him a turned up smile. Just put a little line on the side. Oh no, he still looks grumpy. Oh no, never mind. So now we're making the ears, very similar. So my 2 pieces, very similar to how I've done the bottom lip. This time you're trying and aim for a triangular shape rather than a round shape. So fold the shape in already and then stab it quite shallow on your mat. Lift it off as soon as you can. Stab it from the other side. And then from the other side again. And keep doing this until you've got a little triangular piggy ear shape. So it's not strictly triangular, but they have sort of a slight point at the tip, so it's not completely round. If you start out with a triangle, you have a better chance of getting that shape. It's more like a leaf shape, but don't make it too round. That's one ear, and then do the same with the other one. So I fold it in half there, and then just hold on to the wispy ends, and I fold these sides in to make that triangle. There's a lot of scope that you can do on your felting mat, shaping that ear, even if you don't get the triangle right straight away. They're quite small, the ears. It's only a little pig. And then to attach them, you come from the back going forward. So lay them down, lay those wispy ends down onto the head like that. And sometimes pigs have even got the ears flopping over their eyes. So they can be like that. And then you do this on the other side as well. Make sure they're symmetrical. And felt that ear down as well. That's it. I feel like this face could be felted down a little bit more, make it a little bit smaller, but actually looks quite cute. Little piggy. Oink oink. So all we need to do now are the eyes. I've chosen to do sleepy eyes because he's wrapped up under his blanket and he's probably fast asleep. The snout on my first pig is a lot more defined, a lot longer. The way to make the snout longer is by stabbing the face down back a little bit so that it brings the length out. But I actually quite like it a little bit shorter as well. There. Okay, so you've got a little bit of black in there, and you need the tiniest amount, literally the tiniest amount. And you twist this between your finger to make a little strand. So you will have probably some black left. Make a little strand like that. And then you're going to felt this down into a little curved shape. By just gently stabbing into the wool. If the strand is a bit big, it usually sort of disappears quite a bit when you stab into it, and you can certainly make it thinner by stabbing it deeper in. But don't stab too much or it will just disappear. So there's one, and then the other one. And as I said, definitely use a little bit of blusher to add a bit of a rosy glow to your piggy's cheeks. Looks like he's fast asleep and nice and warm in his blanket. And that is basically all there is to making the little piggy. If you don't like the little marks, the stab marks, then definitely change to a fine needle. And it's so funny how they always look different. I make both the same, and they're always different, and yours will be different too. So what I was going to say is, because it's a woven blanket, you can actually take out some of these strands from the weave. You might need to use, you can use your felting needle to find the next ones along. And just take a few out so that you have a bit of a fringe here on the sides. You can do this all the way around. Depending which part of the blanket or the fabric that you are getting that we have got cut. On one of my sides it has already got a bit of a fringe, so I don't need to do that, but you might have to do this on all four sides. Yeah. And then the same here. So maybe do two at the same time. Don't do too much or your blanket will get too small. There we go. And then you have a proper little blanket with a proper little edging. And then it's up to you how you want to dress your piggy in it. Whether he's got it wrapped around him like this, or whether you make a triangular shape and wrap him up that way. That's entirely up to you, maybe even that way round. In any case, I think he would make a really lovely Christmas tree decoration. However you want to wrap your pig, and if the blanket's too big for your pig, just stab it down a bit more. Make the body a little bit smaller. I'm sure I could make this a lot smaller if I had a little bit more time to just reduce the size. I think the head can stay as it is. If it's slightly bigger, that's okay. But if your blanket doesn't cover all of his body, then just stab the body down a little bit more. Like I say, the body is quite unimportant because it will be hidden inside the blanket. But the smaller it is, the more you can tighten that blanket around him. And so that might be something you want to do. And yeah, I don't know how you're going to wrap him up. Maybe this way. I think he's lovely, and it's a nice project where you can imagine wrapping up a piggy nice and warm in a blanket. So I quite like this way. And then if you wanted to hang him up as a Christmas tree decoration, maybe just put a red ribbon around his body, and that will hold the blanket together as well. So I hope you enjoyed this particular tutorial, number 7 of our 2024 Advent calendar, and yeah, can't wait to see you making your little piggies. Oink, oink. See you soon. Bye.